Good morning, Vietnam. AB3 here. It is a Monday. Man, we're quickly approaching the middle of June. I don't even know how that happened. But here we are. Time's going fast. So, it's interesting. The weather in LA is not what it used to be. And actually, I'm not complaining. It's still cool. Like, I'm wearing a jacket. I can wear long pants, long shirt if I want, long sleeve shirt. Yeah, I like it. Because the alternative here in the San Fernando Valley is incredible heat. Where it's so hot you can't even touch your steering wheel, and I do not care much for that. So today, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about drinking and driving. And the reason that came up is because I went to somebody's birthday on the weekend at a bar, and I met some guy that. I guess I don't know if it's my friend's boyfriend or... Anyways, I was talking to some guy that was talking about how he had been thrown in jail twice. And that came up because we were talking about, drinking and driving, and he wanted to buy a drink for me or have me take shots with everybody, and I told him I was like the designated driver for the night, and how, I take that stuff pretty seriously. So I thought, why not talk about that today? Let's start off with why you shouldn't do it, even just for yourself, on the more selfish side, because I know people care mostly about themselves before they care about other people, unfortunately. But that's what it is. So if you drink and drive and you get pulled over and you get what's called a DUI, affectionately known as a DUI on your record, that's a criminal thing. You'll have a criminal record. You go to jail. Potentially, if it's your first offense, you may get you'll probably get let off to a degree, but you're gonna have a criminal record. You won't have to unlikely spend time in jail, but you might, depending on how severe the situation is. But the short story is that you're gonna have a criminal record, and that can screw up a whole lot of things for you for life. As part of the criminal record, anytime you apply for a visa or to enter another country, you're always going to have to disclose that, because all these visa applications always ask, have you ever been convicted of a crime? And you have to explain what that crime was. If you ever apply for a job, you're going to have to disclose that crime, that record you have. And they're going to, those things are often public records, so they'll be able to see it anyhow. If you're trying to go to school, apply for university, they're going to ask, do you have any criminal records? If you need to apply for a license for something, for example, let's say you want to become a lawyer or a doctor or an accountant, you're going to have to disclose that, you were arrested and have a criminal record for DUI. That could actually stop you from even getting your license and prohibit you from being in a certain career. What else? So it could mess up your schooling, your education, your career, what you do for a living. It can screw up just a basic thing like going on a vacation somewhere, and it does. I had a friend that wanted to come down and visit me from Canada, and he had had a previous DUI this up in Canada, and as a result of that, at least at that time, couldn't come down to visit me because he was concerned about getting stopped at the border and all this, that, and the other. There are just a lot of implications for that. Never even mind, we didn't even get into the fact that you could lose your license, so you won't even be able to drive around. Good luck living in California without having a car, at least in Southern California. And then on top of all of that, good luck getting insurance, because you can't drive without having insurance. I know a lot of people do that, and I can't stand it, and it should be something that I wish would be more enforced here in Southern California, even in our Northern California offices. Like, I'm always surprised if somebody doesn't have insurance with them, why they're not charged or arrested, but the police seem to let them off the hook a lot more often than not. Long story short, you won't be able to get insurance, or if you can, it's going to be incredibly expensive. And all of that because you couldn't just take an Uber, rideshare, or taxi, or have a friend drive, or sleep it off somewhere. I'm not saying don't go out and have fun and have your drink or whatever, but please, it's just so not worth it. Like, if you don't, I want you to understand the ramifications of that one mistake, okay? And those are the selfish ramifications to you. Those aren't even the more important ones, in my opinion, on the impact to other people. So now let's escalate it. Let's say, forget just the DUI part where you're technically over a limit and you can get a criminal record. Let's talk about driving impaired, driving drunk, where your faculties are compromised, your reflexes are compromised, where you can't really drive. You shouldn't be driving or operating a vehicle because you can crash your car or not avoid an accident. You can kill somebody, you can injure somebody severely, you can take out somebody's business by driving into it. It happens all the time. And, you know, you wake up in the slammer and, oh, well, what happened? I think I got in an accident. Well, you just killed somebody. And you can recover from your, you know, hangover, but the person you just killed is not going to recover. And neither is his or her family's or family. Their kids aren't going to have a mother or father for the rest of their lives. You know, I don't even, you know, you've seen enough television commercials, and these things are all true, and it was all because you just wanted to have a good time, and you couldn't do the simple thing of taking a ride share or having a friend drive, well, just because you wanted to drive inebriated. So, you know, I know people use the excuse of, well, I was drunk, I couldn't do this. I don't know. When I used to drink a lot in undergrad, just for fun, I always had my faculties about me. So maybe I don't understand it when people can't negotiate with themselves about what they're doing. So I guess I'll respect that. But if you just assume that even if you're having a couple of drinks, just assume that's bad enough. Honestly, like, they should take it to that level. The other issue I have is, especially in Los Angeles, it's a real problem in my opinion, is, you know, with the legalization of marijuana, and I'm not against it at all, the legalization of it, I have major issues where I'm driving and I smell weed in my car while my windows are up, because the car or cars around me, somebody in those cars are smoking weed. While we're driving at a stoplight, somebody else is smoking weed, and it's so strong that I can smell it in my car, which means they're also, you know, driving impaired. Or my favorite is when, like, you see this giant cloud of smoke come out of somebody's driver's side window because they're vaping on whatever CBD or whatever you call it, whatever weed they're smoking, and you smell the weed, and it's like, well, so these people around me, okay, maybe they're not drinking and driving, but they can't be at their cognitive best for purposes of driving a vehicle if they're, you know, high. And I don't really know what the mechanism is for a police officer testing for that yet. I know one can still conduct a field sobriety test and what have you, but man, that's just as bad in my opinion. And so if you smoke weed or you take any of these types of gummies to calm you down and then you're driving, I mean, take a second thought. Again, for the same reasons I just implored, which are, you know, what it could do to somebody else, what it could do to yourself. I think it's a big problem that really needs to be addressed in the city. Again, I'm not against people doing it for their personal anxiety or whatever they have going on in their lives, but, you know, it's just crazy to me because I'm not sure what the mechanism is going to be for, like, getting tested. And it's pretty, man, I know people drive here crazy to begin with. I can't really tell who's on weed, who's not, or who's drunk, who's not half the time, or if they're just that dumb, or all three. But even if this video hopefully connects with one single person, I hope it makes you think twice. So that's all I wanted to say today. And yeah, hope you have a good start to your day. Make sure, one word of wisdom to people, which I kind of tell my friends that are, like, overwhelmed with work sometimes, they say, you know what overwhelms people most of the time is emails. So on Monday mornings, don't check your email. There's no point. You're just going to be like, it's like taking a thimble to, like, take water out of the Titanic to prevent it from sinking. So what I tell people is, don't check emails on your Monday morning. Just focus on your tasks, and then start chipping away at them on that same day, but in the afternoon. And what you might find is you might find yourself a little bit more peaceful, because a lot of the problems that people had, or emergencies people had in the morning, they usually get resolved by the afternoon, hopefully by somebody else. So that's it for the day. Take it easy. I will see you guys on the next one.